I'm packing for a 33-day trip into Europe across 3 countries, from Croatian coastlines to city exploring and then hiking in the Dolomites. Here is everything I'm bringing. I will show you how I pack my bags to optimize for space to make sure that I bring everything I need for a good trip. There's going to be a very big variation in temperatures, and we're expecting 30 degrees on some days. But then we're also going to have some colder days, especially when we're hiking a sunrise in the Dolomites, which is estimated to be around 5 degrees, which means that it's going to be challenging to make sure that I have all the right gear for all the right climates, specifically with clothing. All of my stuff will be going into this suitcase and this Peak Design 45-litre backpack. Luckily, the suitcase is pretty big because the backpack is going to be filled with my technology and with my camera gear, and that'll pretty much put it to the limit in terms of weight. But to ensure that I can fit everything into the suitcase, I have a few tricks, and the first one is using packing cubes. By the way, just before we get stuck into this, I'm also going to say you're going to hear me talk about Peak Design a lot. You're probably going to get sick of me talking about it, but their products are absolutely fantastic. That's why I have so many of them. And I really like what the company's about, both in terms of how they're interested in looking after the environment and also their commitment to customer warranties and just in general. But you will likely get sick of it because I'm going to talk about it a lot because I have so much of their stuff. So with that note, the first thing we're talking about is actually the Peak Design packing cubes. So they come in different sizes. I've got the medium and the small, and I find they're a really good way to fit in a lot of clothes, and then I kind of separate them. So I might have one that's shirts, one that's pants, and then one that's underwear and socks. And then that way I know where everything is. So I find it's a really good way to organize things. But the other thing that's awesome is if you put all your stuff in there, you can expand them out so that they can fit a lot. And then what you can actually do is compress it down, zip it back up, and it'll be a smaller form factor than if you just had the clothes sitting there freely in the suitcase. The other thing that's also really good about these is that you can actually, there's a compartment at the bottom where once your clothes are dirty or sweaty, then you can just pop them in there, and then they're separate from the rest of your clothes, so that doesn't make everything sweaty and dirty. So that I don't forget to mention anything, I'm actually going to end up reading this off the list that I've made for myself. So for my clothes, we'll start off with up top with the shirts, and I have 3 dress shirts for if we go out to dinners or anything through in the cities. And then I've got a long sleeve hiking shirt in case it's really sunny, make sure that I don't get sunburnt, but it's also breathable, so perfect for those sort of conditions. I also have 5 activewear shirts, which I get hot very easily, so the light clothing is definitely going to be something that's beneficial to me. And then 7 casual shirts. And to me, that feels like I'm taking a lot, and it is a lot, but at the same time, we're going to have limited access to washing facilities, so it looks like the longest stretch will be about 9 days where we won't be able to access anything to wash our clothes, so have to keep that in mind when we're packing. Moving on to the next packing cube, it's also a medium, and that's where I put all of my shorts. I have 4 shorts, and 2 of them can double as board shorts. They're a really light material, which is able to get wet and then dries super easily. So they're also going to be really good for hiking. Then I've got jeans, and I'm also bringing a long pair of light long pants as well, which might be useful for hiking if it's a bit colder, or just going around town as well. And then I have 4 activewear shorts as well for when we're just walking around or when we're hiking as well, just to make sure if it's too hot, I've got an option. For the underwear and socks, with the socks, I'm going to be bringing 4 pairs of hiking socks, and then 5 pairs of just standard socks. And then for shoes, I'm going to have Converses, which are just for walking around. And then I've also got Timberlands, which are more for the hiking boots. I've used them when I climbed Kilimanjaro, and they worked really well. And also when we were in South Africa more recently, just for any hiking or walking around. And I find that they're really good for just going a little bit off the beaten path, and I hope that they're perfect for the Dolomites. And then the last one is just some Birkenstocks for some casual shoes to wear around, especially on a hot day. Now, I will probably end up missing some of the technology stuff, that I've packed in, but again, it goes into a Peak Design product. It's going to have all the bits and pieces that you need for a trip like this. So it's got cables that I might need, so USB-C to USB-A and then USB-C to USB-C, as well as a PowerPoint adapter, just so that you can charge 3 devices at once. And then I've got a little Allen key that always comes in useful with camera gear because it just fits a lot of the mechanisms that for change on things like tripods and just like capture clips and that sort of thing. And then I've got 2 SSDs just to make sure that I have a place to store any photos if I fill up the SD cards. I have spare SD cards, and I also have two SD card readers, one for the CF Express and one just for a standard that then can be used to plug into other things for the iPad as well. I always bring a pen because you never know when you might need a pen, so that always just lives in the tech pouch. And then in addition to that as well, I've also got this new thing for this trip in particular, and it's called an AirFly Pro 2, and what it is you plug it into a aux output, and what it does is it then turns it into a wireless receiver. So we're going to be giving that a go on the flight over there, and then we'll basically let you guys know how effective it is and if it is something that's worthwhile getting. And then just the standards stuff I bring everywhere. So I'm bringing AirPods and I'm bringing my iPhone, both for filming and then obviously for communication. And then I've got an iPad with Apple Pencil and the Magic Keyboard. Now, this is the first trip I will be doing in a very, very long time where I'm not bringing a laptop. So it's going to be an interesting experience because normally I'm quite techie and I absolutely love my technology, and I almost always have a laptop, so it's going to be a bit different this trip, just having the iPad. The main reason is just to save a little bit of weight, and also it's just a little bit easier to use in situations like on the plane. It just seems to take up a little bit less space when you're actually using it as well. And then, yeah, we'll see how it goes, and we'll see if it's something that I could maybe do long term. I've got a few things that are then to be like accompanying for the camera gear, which I've made another video about, so I won't go into too much depth about it, but the additional gear that's to support taking photos and videos and that sort of thing will be firstly the DJI mics, so they're awesome, they're coming along. I've got a Manfrotto tripod that will be my main tripod, and then I also have 2 additional tripods as well. So little tiny ones that are basically going to be that I can put the Insta360 on, or that I can put the phone on and then film YouTube videos, or just get quick snippets that I don't want to take my camera out for. So we'll see how those go, and it'll be interesting to see if they were worthwhile bringing or if it's something that won't come on the next trip. Another thing is I'm bringing a head torch. So one of our ideas for the Dolomites hikes is that we'll end up doing a sunrise hike, which means we will be walking before the sun is even up. And in that case, we actually need to make sure that we have some way to see, so the headlamp is coming with us. And yeah, I'll be looking forward to trying to get some sunrise photos of the Dolomites. Can't wait to see how that goes. If you have any ideas of what I should be bringing that I haven't brought, please let me know in the comments. By the time this video goes live, I will not be in the air yet, so if you comment quickly, maybe I can make some changes and make sure I bring something that I desperately need that I'm not aware of. And if you're interested to find out how the trip goes and whether I selected things that were actually beneficial or not, please subscribe, and then you'll be able to follow along our adventure through Europe, Dolomites, Slovenia and Croatia, and maybe it'll give you some ideas around what you would like to do, and it might also help you pack your bags for a trip similar to this one. All right, I'll catch you out there.